Hey, this is Eric Brink. This is my live annotated bibliography, the recorded version. I have two articles that I've taken a look at, and both of these tie in with my research question of what is the impact of social media and other forms of communication technology on the health and well-being, mental well-being of teenagers. Um, the, the medium that I have chosen would be similar to a 3MT or 3-minute thesis type of thing, where one image is chosen and then the presenter speaks over that. The first study that I'm taking a look at is called The Role of Communication Technology in Adolescents' Relationships and Identity Development. It's by Betty Ann Sear, Stephen L. Berman, and Megan L. Smith, and it was published in 2015 in Child Youth Care Forum. With this research study, what they worked to determine was if social media does impact adolescents in regards to specifically peer relationships, their own identity development, and psychological adjustment. So if it does cause them to become maladjusted. As adolescence is a time when identities are formed, as kids are determining their own sense of self and where they fit in the world, and the use of various social media continue to rise with the introduction of each new media app, it does seem that this is both timely and a prudent study. In this study, the researcher's dependent variable would be the state of mind of a teen and the sense of identity of the teens. The independent variable would be their use of technology. The researchers are looking to see how the teen's use of social media functions as a moderating influence or moderating variable on the child's sense of self and psychological state. While they did look at some mediating variables in this regard, it is a little unclear how the use of social media mediates teens' social state, but the study did definitely find that it did. The study found, or some of the findings of the study, was that communication technology was related to a rise in identity and relationships problems, greater social anxiety, and a greater psychological maladjustment overall. The study did consist of only 268 participants, which is actually a pretty good number for a study of this magnitude. My concerns are a little bit more that all the participants were based in Central Florida, and 82% of them were Caucasian. And of the 282, also 69% of them were female. So it is unsure whether you can take the findings of this study and scale this out to gain a lot of insights into the general population of teenagers, or definitely into Canadian teens, which would be more of a focus for my own study. Looking back, it would seem that it would have been more prudent to include more males in the study and to definitely work to be more ethnically diverse, because this could have some. I feel this could have some impacts on the study based on my own anecdotal knowledge. Having said that, I do feel that this is a study that raises some good points and is exactly in line with my own research question. I do wonder if the results, like I said, would have been different in Canada with a more diverse group, and what would have been the impact of that on the findings. I also wonder why the researchers did not simply make their study an examination of the role of communication technology in female adolescents' relationships, with such a ridiculously high percentage of females in the study. Having a study of pushing 200 participants, all female, would I think still been a valuable contribution. The second article that I'm taking a look at is called Say So, Why Have You Added Me? Which is the Adolescent Girls Technology Mediated Attachments and Relationships by Diane Levine and Dov Steckel, and this is published in 2016 in Computers and Human Behavior. Both of the articles I find, because they were written so recently, I think are extremely valuable because the pace of social change is so drastic. In this study, the researchers are looking to determine how adolescent girls use digital devices as they develop their own secure relationships with families and friends. As a framework, the way they're going to be looking at this, or the way they looked at this, I guess, would be in light of the attachment theory. In this instance, their dependent variable would be the development of a secure relationship, and their independent variable would be the use of social media. In an attempt to minimize the confounding variables of having males in the group, the researchers chose to examine only female participants, as they feel there's considerable difference in the behavioral context of the genders. Some of the findings of the study, the researchers did find that there were a number of moderating variables um, in determining what is the impact of technology on the teens. And they found that the nature of the relationship with the parents is an important variable, as many of the participants would, when faced with a conflict or a problem that they discovered through their relationships online, often bounced ideas off their own parents. So that was a large moderating variable. Some of the other findings of the study is that social media was seen as a gateway to find new friendships and was a way to make new ones, as well as being an amplifying force for both positive and negative aspects of relationships. They did find that some participants use social media to develop a secure relationship base, which ties in with the idea of the attachment theory. These bases were not driven by risk, but often by similar interests, just like they would be in the real world. So this is a similar finding to conventional relationships, not mediated through an online environment. This particular study is pertinent to what I'm looking at, as it does tie in with teens and how they're using technology and how it is impacting their development. There is, however, this study, as a criticism, had an extremely low number of participants, as there were only 14. And all of those were from the Midlands region of England, which would be pretty much right in the middle, all the way across the country. And also what they found is, as they were doing the study, is that all of the children were from two-parent families. So there is some question as to how scalable the findings are to teens elsewhere, and as they are also all from England as opposed to being international, I'm not sure how useful this is to me with my study of Canadian teens. But there is, I think it is some help, as it does tie in with teens. And that is my two articles.